This is Talk to Kedi, sharing knowledge, liberating minds. Yes! All right, that is Sam. Whenever you hear that sound, it is time for Talk to KD. Hello, my distinguished viewers. Welcome to another impactful edition of Talk to KD, the #1 platform for learning, growth, and transformation. Yes, our topic for today is one that's very powerful and very timely. Success blueprints for new network marketers. Success blueprints for new network marketers. My name is Sarah Ajinowo. Let's do this together again as always. Alright, I'm not alone in the studio. I'm sure you know that by now. In the studio, I have one of our honorary lecturers. Okay, he's a life coach, a well-versed and eloquent speaker. He is the owner of Service Center 163, located in Lagos. He is a multiple award-winning distributor and, of course, a true super achiever. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be sounding little applause. Please welcome with me to Talk to Kedi studio today, Mr. Franklin Nsirimobi. Please let's have you, sir. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you.
Please
have
your seat comfortably. Okay.
As always.
As always. I hope this is not hot.
No.
Yeah, I trust you, sir. I trust you because today's topic is very sensitive and trust me, very important. And I'm pretty sure that you're ready to dish out from your wealth of knowledge.
Absolutely.
So before I move on, kindly introduce yourself quickly to the viewers.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, afternoon rather.
Yes.
Permit me. My name is Franklin Nsirimobi. I am a KD networker by the grace of God, because I believe it is a privilege to be part of this very wonderful company.
Yeah.
So I am a top distributor with the company, and I own, like she said, Service Center 163. And I thank God for everything so far. So thank you so much, Madam Sarah.
Rich men don't talk too much. God, please make me rich. See the way he spoke, because he spoke with fairness.
And
God,
clarity.
make me rich too. You're welcome, Sarah. Please to have you again.
Thank you.
In case you're tuning for the first time, I wondered, okay, I can see one woman and one man. What's going on here? This is Talk to Kedi, your #1 platform for learning, growth, and transformation in network marketing. Okay, so this broadcast comes your way fortnightly. We have 2 editions each month. The first edition that we're having today, first edition for the month, we'll talk about business. The second edition for the month, we'll talk about products. Okay, so today we're talking about success blueprints for new network marketers. Now, while we will be focusing on new network marketers, you can be rest assured that the insights that will be shared today will be valuable for all network marketers. Okay, so when I joined the business last month, yesterday, 10 years ago, I'm pretty sure that the insights that Mr. Nsirimobi will be sharing as we proceed will help you grow your business. So stick around. Okay, share this link with your downlines. If you have new network marketers in your team, people that just registered last week, last month, last year, and you feel they should learn today, share this link with them and let's learn. It is time to learn. Get your notepad, get your pen, and don't forget that this conversation is open to everyone. Okay, as you truly make it to the comment section and let's get started. If you have questions, you have contributions, you have opinions to share, of course the comment section is open for you. Okay, talk to Kedi because we are listening. Mr. Franklin Nsirimobi, are you ready to take us through our fact sheet for today? Oh, as always. Oh, ever ready. Alright, so you can just read from the screen or from your pad. Okay, our fact sheet for today, sir.
Okay, fact sheets. Insufficient business knowledge is a major factor behind the failure of many new network marketers. Consistent participation in training greatly increases the chances of success in network marketing. Poor prospecting strategies and an inability to manage rejection are key contributors to failure among new network marketers. And that is true.
Yes or no? Okay, I was going to ask. Okay, so towards before the end of the podcast, you would touch on these points quickly. All right, the show has started. Where have you been? We started some minutes ago. Okay, so you've not missed so much. This is the best time to pick out your pad, your notepad, and your pen. It's time to start writing because I'm handing over to my guest in the next few seconds. Don't forget, the topic for today is success blueprints for new network marketers. Okay, they could be for new network marketers, but all network marketers will benefit from these success tips. So let's do this together. So are you ready? Yeah. My first question quickly. You have been a network marketer for over a decade.
Yes.
So can you share your biggest struggles with us? What are those struggles that you've had to go through, okay, since you joined the business, and what kept you motivated? So we're doing this for those new network marketers who feel, they told me this thing will be rosy. I joined since last month, I've not gotten anything. I'm still struggling. I'm still doing this. So sir, share your own with us.
Thank you, Sarah, for having me. I've always been delighted to be in your show because it has always been a very interesting one. Anyway, I don't know if you really knew if I joined this business as a novice. I actually joined network business as a complete novice.
Wow.
And all. Though not a destitute. But you see, and these two things I've just mentioned now, particularly from the background of somebody who is a novice, would be a challenge. You know, unlike others or someone else that has gotten the prior knowledge of how this industry operates. You know, there are people who join, for instance, or let me specifically KEDI. I'm referring to KEDI here because KEDI has been my first and only network business that I've
interesting.
So I joined this business as a novice, and you see, I always, from my experience too, and I also realized that there are two major classes of people. There are two major classes of people joining network business. There are people who join the business based on conviction. To them, it wasn't a gamble. They are very sure of what they are coming to meet. They have reference points. They have people they knew made so much from the business. They can tell you that this person, I knew this person when this person was homeless, was at this level. But today, this person owned cars, built this, built that from this industry. So you see, they don't have that doubt. They lack that doubt of the opportunity. They already believe. They are firm. And you see, when they just come in, they just start running because the distraction will not really be there. Because I can't tell you that you're a man when you are convinced that you're a woman. So they understand the terrain, they believe in the business, they already know that this business has the potential to give them that reward they're looking for. So when they come in, they move. These are a particular set of persons. The other side are people who came like myself, like a novice, who came as a novice. And you know, in this class of persons too, a lot of things can really make you come in as a novice. Let me be particular about my own self. You see, I came into this business not necessarily because I understood the opportunities that this industry holds, but it is because I had something I could call a pressure on me that brought me. So I just realized that I'm a network company. Why do I say this? It is because before now, so many years before I get to know the company of a network business, I've been approached by a lot of other companies, distributors, that have approached me to introduce their companies, their network companies to me. And unfortunately for me, I should say, because that also delayed my coming into the industry. I I never gave them that opportunity to express the opportunity to me because of a mindset. You know, a lot of these networkers, these distributors of different companies, not particular, not about KD now, because then KD had not been in existence. I understand I almost joined KD at the point when KD started. So I have already had a mindset that once they approach me, once you approach me and I get to understand that you are talking or you're trying to introduce a multi-level marketing business and a network business, I'm already biased. It is because I came to understand that, or I rather discover that there is this incentive that they always pull across, which is a car, free car. Every of these networkers that have approached me, they always present a car as an incentive, as a killer. So it's when you also make me to understand that I have to register with a very low amount of money. If you look at going back to when this period, I should be saying about 2,000 or 1,500, at most 3,000 naira as a cost for registration, as against the promise that the business holds, giving me a free car, traveling abroad, getting a house, earning millions. You see, because like I told you, I mean, I was a novice before joining. I didn't have the prior knowledge about that, so it was difficult for me to connect the dots. It doesn't make sense to me as somebody who, like I told you, the challenging thing here is because I never had an idea of how it operates. So it looks more like a scam to me when you tell me that I have to pay a kobo to get a car, travel free. I see it as a scam. So the moment you make mention of network business, I don't care how you present it. I would not. I'll be discouraged. I wouldn't want to give you audience. So I've been meeting. I've been coming across a lot of places. But at the point, because all this while, I think I should say I have an Abraham in quotes, somebody who keeps giving me stipends, money to eat. Have you eaten? No, take. Okay, take. So I have some change, to buy akara, to buy plantain by the roadside, or maybe things like that. So that kind of gift beclouded my sense of responsibility. So my thinking of direction was limited by that gift. It was until when I started growing as a man, when it began to appear very clear to me that my life shouldn't be about give me. I now begin to see that I have my mates that are settling down. Do you understand? I have my mates that are now getting married. The picture became clearer that it means that this 2 kobo, 3 kobo, 1 kobo that I've been collecting is rather a distraction. So that mindset, that thinking of being responsible, understanding that I will have a family I'm going to make and I'll be responsible for their well-being and all those things, that thing now triggered my sense of responsibility. And remember I told you that I have input an Abraham that used to give me stipends. So at a point, that stipends stopped making sense to me because I now realized that thing was like a distraction. So at that very point in time, desperation set in my life because it now became a thing of it should be now. I have my peers. I have to meet up. It's a trend. So that desire to begin to look for something that is more sustainable begin to mount on me. That pressure now came to me. I told you that before now, I used to turn down opportunities. I don't give them attention. I don't give them the opportunity to explain further. But when this pressure started mounting on me, when it became very clear to me that I'm now a poor man, I'm not just being a poor man with a title. That pressure was what dragged me into this opportunity. And how that brought me here was when I ran into a flyer that I saw with a lunatic, a mad person. You can imagine persons of sane mind introduced me to the business and I turned it down. But now I now got the opportunity and I was interested when I got it from a lunatic. What a very funny. So you can see what pressure can, and that pressure was that need to succeed. So when I saw that, I saw a write-up on it about business opportunity and how we write independent business opportunity or business. I can't really because it says about close to 2 decades. It was about opportunity, and I also realized that on that flyer it was captured that funds were not necessarily shouldn't be a barrier. On the flyer it was captured that fund wouldn't be a barrier for this opportunity that I'm going to enjoy. So that just 2 words took care of my worries. One, the opportunity which I'm looking for, and my poverty will not be a challenge for me. So I now found myself in the seminar where I met the person that was there that gave the presentation. And I was lucky the young man did justice to the topic where he used the concept of leverage to drive his point home, and I connected. Because when I asked a lot of questions there, I was made to understand that my limitation in terms of finance wouldn't be a challenge. I now ask for that question. Because like I told you, that still mindset of being a scam was still in my mind. So I needed clarification. I now asked further. If money is or would not be the challenge, what then will drive the success? And I says, what will drive that success is just my commitment to the cause. It was also ambiguous to me. I tried to ask him to, dissect this and really understand. He said, look, what I need to succeed in this business, money is the least in the rank of a hierarchy. But what I need first is what God has given to me. He mentioned to me my time. What do I have my time for? I've been wasting around. When he said my time, I think good, I have that. He said my energy. I said energy to eat free food. I think that's good, I have it. He said contact. I said contact as in how? He said now he's referring to people who I meet every day. I said wow. In this place where I even jam people's shoulders. So have them in abundance.
Yes,
He also now talked about knowledge. I just mentioned 4 things now. Knowledge. Now, I'm a novice, so that doesn't connect. That's why I needed a further clarification. It's okay. That knowledge is what I'm going to get in the process of doing the business. The moment I sign on, which is the baby step, and I attend seminars, get the trainings, mix up with people who are of like minds, who are people who are also with conviction and results. You see them talking about it, I'll begin to get a clearer picture. When I read the manual, which is supposed to be the first thing, to understand the application, proper application of the product, and understanding the business plan, which is the reward system. All those things, I can't get them now from outside. I have to sign on. So when I've been given the manual and I attend seminar, but I shouldn't just worry. But he likens my situation with somebody who wants to access a first floor and he has not been to that building before. Now all you need to know is that be assured that this step, as long as you keep putting your leg on the next level, that you take it up, it doesn't matter what is there, as long as you follow these procedures. So he connected with me. So I started. So you need to see my manual. And during my days with KD, it wasn't like a manual, it was like a flyer. It was a flyer, So I got home. I started by trying to understand what are these people talking about. So I needed to clear that doubt. Because if I still have that doubt, I'll be stopped. I will not move. I have to have a clear picture of the direction and the possibility of getting there. So when I started, that is the of a mistake a lot of us make. We join this business and we think that the company gave us the manual because they don't know what to do with money.
Exactly.
All the information, all the things you need are already there. Just all you need is that time he's talking about to open. And it's not written in French, it's in simple English.
Exactly.
When I started reading that, I began to connect. And I began to understand that, look, so all this while I've been busy advertising, telling people about where to go and eat a better food, telling them why a shoe or shirt or handset is better than it. So all those while I'm making money.
Exactly.
It not started connecting to me. Now, in that knowledge also taught me that, look, I am not joining this business to do something different from what I've been doing before. That is the most interesting aspect of it. I am not coming into this business for me to do something from outside of the world that I don't know. It is something I have already been doing, I love doing, I must do because I am designed to do that by nature. Exactly. The only difference is that I will now begin to do that professionally with consciousness. Exactly. It is like people who play football for entertainment on the street. It is the same. You see people stand beside and watch and they clap, they are entertained. It's the same thing Ronaldo, it's the same thing they do. It's the same entertainment. The difference is that these persons will not allow you watch them and get entertained without paying them money. So it is packaged. So the same thing with this concept. So what you need to do is the same in the same way I will tell you that I like this, and you say, this is where I got it. This is where I got it. You refer me and I go and I buy. You will not be rewarded. But you did the marketing. But you are not in the picture to get rewarded. Which is what we always do. So it begins to make sense. I started feeling a bit depressed even. Why did I start this in this place? I started feeling bad. I said, oh, big someone, you have messed up. I started counting years. So this is as simple as. So when I now joined, like I told you, because of my noviceness, I didn't have a pre-knowledge of this. So it's a challenge as against people who are already coming with conviction. They already know the business. We can't pull them from the business. So I begin to face the challenge of distraction. Okay. Do you understand? Because I'm trying to map out the direction. The direction is not really very clear. I'm still trying to, there's still some kind of smoke. I'm trying to figure out where I am going. Unlike these other persons already know where they are going. It has not been really clear. So how I was able to, the other leg of the question was how I was able to navigate it. I understood the importance of training. I knew even before joining business that I understood that, and I was also familiar with the concept of this saying that practice brings you close to perfection. I don't say practice makes perfect. There's nothing like perfection, but it brings you closer. Yes. So I now understood that if I continue to stay around people with like mind, people who have the same kind of thinking, people who understand this business, and I attend seminars to get a better clarification about what I read. Because the truth of the matter is that when you read that manual as a novice, you will see certain write-ups as jargon. Okay. Sure. There you see PV. You see PV. It's not about you being a professor. This is not a field. You need clarification. So you see team point, all those things. So you still need clarification. So certain things will make sense. But when you see some certain jargons, you need clarification. That is the essence of the seminar. And seminar is like to interpret what has been given. But it is important. You must not jump the position. You must first go through your manual. It is important. I'm saying this because that was what I did. I wasn't in a hurry to start going to talk to people. What are you telling them? What do you know? So I first want to get, because remember that what we are doing, our kind of business, I'm talking about KEDI. KEDI is not, we don't hawk products. The concept is not, that is why I've been in this business to close to 20 years. Nobody has seen me with one product of KEDI. I've never carried it, except if you see it in my car. When maybe I'm living out here where I got the product in my office. I don't carry products. It is the information we trade, we exchange for money, which is why from here I can get someone who is not within my state. sometimes outside of the country, and they will get registered. They will use the product. I didn't send them manual for registration or form. I didn't send them product. But they get registered, they use product, and from that place, while I'm here, the company will connect my bonus from their effort to me. So it means that it's not necessarily about carrying products. Even though this is a network company, it's not designed like that. Those other ones you see that are compelled to carry product. Ours are knowledge driven. That is why once you don't have the knowledge, you struggle. It doesn't matter. So the knowledge first, then you begin to apply. So after going through that, during my days, it was just here all the same. This was the only place to have seminar, this building. Yes, it was just here because they were new and have few networkers that are experienced because they have a background from somewhere else that came here. These are the persons that are teaching us. So this was the only place. So then I was somewhere at Agege with my brother. So I used to come twice in a week here, Tuesdays and Thursdays. You begin to wonder, this young man said he came in with poverty. How then was he able to transport himself from that place to this place twice in a week? That was a commitment to determination. I told myself that I must succeed in this business. And it is important to have that mindset. For you to succeed in this business, you must have the mindset of somebody that's crossed a bridge. Okay? And you turn the bridge. A bridge that you have crossed that can also lead you back to where you're coming from. You burn it. That signifies that there is no going back. So I've made up my mind that look, I've suffered poverty and I've seen this opportunity, there is no going back. So I must find myself here with all means necessary and possible. It doesn't matter. You know what I used to do? I used to go to somewhere along the road where I see some of these trucks open back and jump at the back. I sneak in. Yes, I sneak in there. And they'll bring me close to ocean. If I discover that they are going a different route, rather than the place that will take me there, I'll jump down. From there, I'll flag down another person. Sometimes I end up at one in the air. I'll flag down. But in all this, I'll always be the first person there and sit at the front. That hunger, that why, that poverty has, there is a prospect, there is a prospect of getting something. There's something KD is dangling to me. Say, look, see, this is the goal. Take, and I'm seeing it. And they have just said, to get this, these are the steps. So I'm interested in getting this. So those steps weren't like a torture to me. It was like a process to me because I have to get this. So I was coming every twice. So I started doing that for close to some months. I can't really remember, but for some months I was consistent. Now I asked a lot of questions. I told you I came in with a mindset of somebody who had this thinking that these things is scam. Though at this point a lot of things are beginning to make sense to me, but I still had that further need to ask for that question for more clarity. So I keep asking questions. I eventually ask questions much on the business. So that at the point that if I ask a question, the person who did present them will tell me, see me after the seminar.
So that's serious.
Yes, it now began to dawn on me that I have almost begun to graduate from this coming to seminar. When people who are I've gone beyond what they are teaching. I've understood that because I don't just come to sit down. I come to listen, pen down, and go and make some assumptions. Ask myself some certain questions. Questions like what if, all those what if, and I try to figure out the answer. You know one thing about KD conversation plan? It is so sincere. It is so sincere that sometimes when people come to me and say, Mr. Frank, see, KD is supposed to do this. Look at what they did not do this. First thing I have in my mind is that the mistake must come from you and not the company. It's a mindset. Because after I have, asked all those questions when I came into the business, try to get the loophole where I can hold as an excuse to leave the business. But all those things we are clear. I say, if there is no place for me to pin this company down, then it means they are genuine. So that has given me the belief and the resolve that this is where I must be. So when people come and ask questions, so now when lecturers no longer take my questions, I started going to the management, to the Chinese. Yes, the colleague of Eric at calculation. Sometimes if I come, they know my name, say he has come. I'm thinking to say, what if? So this is just a way to get a proper understanding. When it became very clear that this thing is very straightforward, I now relax and I begin to pursue my dream.
Wow, that was a mouthful. And from all of the things that Mr. Nsirimobi just said, okay, if you're just tuning in, you're welcome to Talk to Kedi. And the topic for today is success blueprints for new networkers. Okay, so he mentioned quite a number of things that new network, in fact, from the answer he just gave to my first question, he has done justice to almost all my questions. Okay, so I'm asking you now, from all that he said, mention only 4 things. If you really paid attention to what he said, mention 4 things that you're supposed to do as a new network marketer to succeed in the business. Okay, he said something. He said when you attended your seminar that the facilitator says something and something. What were those things? Because me, I paid attention and I can tell you those 4 things I picked. And after those 4 things, he mentioned some other things. So as a new network marketer, what are those things from what my guest has mentioned? What are those things that you should do? Okay, I'm not going to run through them. Let me see your responses in the comment section before I change my mind whether to answer that question or not. So I would not be able to take all my questions because time is not our friend. I'll just take a few more. Okay, so let's take this one. Question 6. So what advice would you then give to new network marketers? You have told us about the early struggles, you've told us how you were able to navigate them. So what advice would you give to new network marketers? Okay, people just joined the business and they are still at that phase. Okay, what are your words for them?
You see, the biggest challenge every new networker will have in their business is what you call rejection. What I call objection. They are almost the same thing. Why I use the word objection? Because the word rejection to me sounds like throwing the baby away with the bathwater.
Yeah.
If you are rejected as if but you see, what is being turned down is not you.
Yeah, it's the offer.
It's the offer.
True.
It's a message. So it has nothing to do. It's not personal.
Yes.
The moment you understand that you're in the business, a lot of people get discouraged because they see themselves as failure because people have turned them down. Now you must understand something. There is this concept that goes with objection. It is a liquid. Some will. Some won't.
Yeah.
So what? Next.
Yes.
It is natural that you face objection. Objection is an integral part of our existence. You can't run away from it.
True.
Objection signifies disagreement. And so on. Why you are here asking me this question is because we don't think alike. You have your thinking and I want to sort my own thinking. So if we think alike, it means that there won't be objection. God created us with perspectives, which is why people argue. And without objection, there will be no invention. It is disagreement that brings about what you are enjoying. You know what I'm saying? So don't fight it. It is an ingredient necessary for your survival in the business. Rather, that no should be seen as a signal to you for being very close to your yes, which you need in the business. In fact, if there is no no, then you are very, very far from getting your yes. No, as far as I'm concerned, it's just a thing of numbers. It's just like that. Because it must be there. If you have objected, okay, this, take for instance, if you are to be discouraged because people are turning you down, haven't you turned other persons down?
No,
Even if it is not network yet.
Yes.
So it's natural. So that no, like I said, is the signal that there is a yes. So the more no you get, in fact, I want to encourage us to look for more no's. Yes. The more no's, it's true. The more no's you search for, the more clearer or closer you are to your yes. Why do I say that? No could also mean not now.
Oh.
No, as far as I'm concerned, suggests that you need, for instance, you can have a no, not because what you're presenting has an issue. A lot of factors can result to no. It could be disposition. Okay. You don't know the person's state of mind
at the time.
It could be class of priority. A man whose landlord has just been booted or has just been served 7 days quick notice, and his family is going to face the risk of being thrown into the streets in the rain, and he doesn't have money, and he's somewhere thinking how he's going to raise money to leave 2 rooms to 1 room, or where he's going to, and you open your teeth with your tie and say, I'm bringing you a business that will change your life. In fact,
if you don't get out of here,
no matter how sweet the soup you are presenting, it will taste sour in his mouth because of the state of mind. So you can now see that sometimes it is not your fault. It could be the disposition, the priority. It will also mean that you didn't present very well. So the person didn't really understand. That is why you can meet somebody in the seminar and say, what is the problem? I'm seeing Kedi Bango with you. You have already started. Say, I'm already going to succeed. This business is wonderful. But I've been telling you about this business since, and you turned me down. What implies that is that you didn't present it for these things. Somebody who understood. Maybe you also presented it very well. Okay. But the timing was not right. But this other person may not even be as good as you. But the timing was right. So all those things can come with. So when you get a no, it is a signal. But like I said, make a challenge. Tell yourself that every day I'm looking up to nothing less than 10 to 15 no's. Wow. Not yes. It is risky for you to have an assumption of yes from your prospects before you approach. That can be devastating.
Yes, if it doesn't happen.
Your job is to present very well. Circumstances, if it is in place, will be in your favor for yes. If it is no, some will, some won't. You know what I'm saying? You move to the next. If the so what? So there will always be that. The most important thing is for you to always try to fine-tune. You must always try to fine-tune. As I speak, even KD management, I believe the last time I was there, this place wasn't like this. There have been some shift, fine-tuning. And I believe in another few times, someone comes here, it will be like this.
Of course.
That is the process of succeeding. So you don't take the same strategy, you keep fine-tuning. But the most important advice I will give is that you must not be far from training. The moment you have that mentality that you are above training, that is where your stagnation starts.
That's a problem.
And your motivation begins to do what? Nosedive. So you must continue to attend seminars, but attending seminars is not enough. You attend seminars, you have the knowledge, you have the conviction. If you don't pass it, there won't be a result. So you must be able to after getting that information, you must prospect. You must talk to persons, you must introduce the product. And again, like I said, that rejection, which I said which is the major challenge, can also come if you are not well equipped with knowledge. When prospecting, when reaching out to people, I always advise them to try, to appease more to their sense of need than selling products. You get what I'm saying? If I come to you now and my intention is service, I won't be in a hurry to sell to you as a man our if comfort.
Okay.
Because I want money. What is the correlation? If comfort, a man. You get what I'm saying? But if my intention is that you have challenges of conception and I understand that we have product that can take care of this, postgraduate season and all these things, and I speak to your challenge and you understand that I have understood the issue, be willing to pass no matter the amount. Because already I've convinced you that I know what I'm talking about. Exactly. So that is why you can't sell do you know what it means for somebody to cover 20,000 naira? You need to convince the person. So you shouldn't be desperate. And like I said, in trying to reach out to persons, it's not a must that somebody must buy from you. If the person doesn't buy, move to the next person. But in doing that, always try to fine-tune, always attend seminars, get other people's views on the business. The essence of attending seminar, which is a must. Like I said, if you stop attending seminar, you start depreciating in the business. It doesn't matter whether you're a director, whether you're a chairman. You begin to feel isolated. Yeah. At the point, you begin to feel heavy that something is happening around you. Because iron sharpened iron. So you must always be there. If you're not going there as somebody who is presenting, go there to listen. There must be one or two things you must pick. So as you listen, you fine-tune, you connect yourself with people with like minds, people who are. So that will help to form a strategy. Because in this business, if you don't have a strategy, you just there stagnant. You must have an idea of where you're going. Long time, middle time, and immediate result. For instance, I don't know if I have the time to add one or two things. Okay. For instance, if you are in staff 4, for instance, and what you earn cumulatively is maybe, let's say, 70 to 80,000 naira. Okay. A new staff 4. And how you come about that is because maybe you were able to make some sales of what's my was about 250 to 300 PV worth of product. And your downlines were able to contribute some sketchy PVs. And at the point, by the time you work out the 25% change, pay the necessary tax and other things, you arrive at 80,000. If you now say, I want to be earning 500 or 1 million, the same template you can use. All you need to do is to multiply it. So, but your own input should be more. Your own input. So don't depend on your downlines. They are not your slaves. So whatever you want them to be doing, lead by example. Exactly. So assuming what you're raking in direct sales that you have created was maybe 250, you increase it close to 1 million. I mean close to 1,000 rather. You make some placements. And because in our kind of business, if you're introducing somebody, remember that people who come in as novice are quick to backslide from the business. Yes. Because they don't have reference points. They don't have oxygen that is sustaining them. One of the leg is inside, one is outside. Because they are yet to understand. It is different from somebody who came in with conviction, like I told you, who has evidence of people who have made it. They came in there and they say, we die here. They'll never leave that place. But you, as you're here, there's a possibility that you're also putting application for yes, I work. When I started this business, at the time I earned as less than 500 naira as a bonus. Wow. I didn't leave because my conviction became very, very tough. It is the conviction that I will keep you, and conviction cannot come without knowledge. It is the knowledge that builds. The more the knowledge, the more the conviction. It is that conviction that will keep you. I have stayed with KD by doing it to be 20 years. I have not done any other network business. If you check my phone now, you see new network companies, the whites calling me directly, sending me message. That has been happening for years now. And for once, I have never attended any seminar aside of KD seminar. It is the strength of my conviction that kept me committed. So assuming I lack that conviction, I would have Today I go to the company register. When it is not working, of course it will not work because you need the same energy. So when you go there and there's no free food, you come back. You go to, by the time you know it, you have 6, 7 different companies ID card and you're still at a point.
Exactly.
Because you have to leverage from what you have already done before. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes, I get you.
So that is simply the issue. So conviction must be the watchword. And like I said again, consistency should take the place of motivation. Consistency in the sense that in this business, once you join, there's a process. Just follow the process as I was telling you now. You attend seminars, you ask questions, you learn whatever you have been taught, prospect with it, you prospect, do a follow-up, Those that will join you. Yeah. Those that win, that will say tomorrow it's okay. Yeah. You continue. Whether you're making the millions now, you're not making the millions now, is immaterial. As long as you are committed to this process, 5, 6 months is too much for you. You begin to see results. But if you're driven by motivation, what I call down motivation, you are joining me. You're joining me in the business because I told you that this business people are getting car. See that man, this man is a kid man. They just give him this car. You say, wow, this car. You rush your shirt and listen, you are the first to attend seminar. You know? By tomorrow, when you now realize that car is not your own, you begin to style. And when you come to seminar, you begin to give stories. So what triggered you was instantaneous. It's not something that is sustainable. So it means you're not coming down with conviction. It is up motivation, which fluctuates. So you must be committed to consistency, which is the routine. And what are the routines? It's already in the book. If you attend seminar, you get it. Make sure you attend seminar, and as you attend seminar, practice what you have been taught.
Exactly.
Don't cheat. Don't do this. Don't do that. Straightforward. As you're coming, learn the ABC rule. How you take advantage of your upline, the company or whatever, to build and remain consistent. Once you are doing all that,
you make the money. See, you will make the money, certainly.
Sure.
Before I go to the comment section, sir, please help us with our Dr. Captive for today.
Dr. Captive. Success in network marketing is not built in a day, but it's built daily. Stay consistent when it is hard. Stay focused when it is what? Slow. And stay committed when others quit, because your breakthrough is not a matter of if, but when. Surely you must get there.
I like that part. I like this part. Success in network marketing is not built in a day.
Let me throw more light. Our kind of this thing is likened to a farmer. You know, a farmer, when you see these crops we eat every day, the process is not the days something. First, a particular land is identified by a farmer. Cleared is a particular processes. Cleared, weeded, and then cropped. Now, these are all processes because when it is cropped, then it will be watered. Even with all these efforts, birds have their own share. Because some of these crops, it is like birds are attracted to it. They pick. So as when you have 10 or 20 crops out front, bird may take half of it. If it is area, you know, birds are always around there and it's open there. So the man who is the farmer will exercise patience while doing the right thing. That is the key word. Exercise, not exercising patience and being lazy. Not exercising patience and doing jumpology. You know, you are exercising patience but leaving your KD business to another network. That is not. These two must complement. Not while you are exercising patience, you are not attending seminars, you're not prospecting, you're not doing a follow-up, all those ingredients, you abandon them. And you are exercising patience by waiting. There will be no free food. Exactly. So these two must work together. The patient must be there because it's not a tasteful. So while you are exercising patience, you must continue, like the farmer, continue to do the right thing, which is come in timely, water the crops. Even when you are doing that, there will always be external aggressors. The weed will come, the weed will want to take part of them. Exactly. Some animals will come to eat part of them. So these animals and all those things are distractions. These are the distractions that if you want to make it a story, like put life to the story I'm talking about, these are the distractions that will happen. So it's not a rosy thing. So to you have seen a beautiful apple, a beautiful yam to eat. But these things went through all these challenges and processes. So this farmer, while exercising patience, go through the required process. And before you know it, in 6 months, as the case may be, depending on the product, 6 months or a year or thereabout, the fruits are ready for harvest. And you see them in the market and you eat. That is what I've just read now is talking about. So you must remain focused. Remaining focused, you must have the patience because it is not network business. It's not a day. If it's a day thing, if I tell you it's a day thing, then it's a scam. So it's a process you have to build. And while you are patient, you must do the key here is that while you're patient, you must do the right thing.
All right, let's take a few questions we have from Tiwiz on our Instagram page. Yes, sir. Many new network marketers start with probably being consistent, but but lose motivation quickly. What specific daily habits? So daily habits and structure that would help a network marketer, that would help a beginner in the business stay consistent in their first 90 days. And then we have Chikeze Grace. She's saying your objection is an integral part of the business. Thank you for watching, ma. So let's take that question and then we'll call it a day on this edition. Habits.
It's simple. Remain focused. Learning mentality. You must develop the mentality to learn. So the habit there should be to learn. In the process of that learning, attending seminars, learning and showing up to prospect should be daily thing. Not at your convenience, not when you think you should. You know, I understand you show up here every day, except for Sundays. That is the work. So this is also a more serious work than this as a networker. Even though you aren't giving application, because here you're giving application, we don't give application. You don't feel application as networker. So that is why a lot of people don't see it as being real great opportunity. So you must change your mentality. Don't stay at home and say you don't have time to attend seminars. Because like I said, the business is information driven. And where do you get the information? You don't get it at home. You go to mix up with like minds. You attend seminars. Learn from people who have been ahead of you. They will share their experiences with you. And you learn 1 or 2 things and you apply. In our kind of business, copy is allowed. Don't close book here. So the mentality is for you to learn. Don't like attending seminars. Who don't like reading? It's my life. I used to be a barber. A very good one at that. Yes, before I became a networker, I used to tell people I'm an accidental networker. I just found myself here. But to the glory of God, I was disciplined enough to remain focused and disciplined to be consistent. That was the only. Some people say, Mr. Frank, you're lucky. It's not luck. All the persons in this KD business I have seen that have made some reasonable money from the business, their no's are more than you. The more the no's, the more the no's, the chances of becoming successful. So don't run away from no's. Accept it. It is natural. Like I said, it is part of our being. You can't run away from it. Just look at it from this point. Like I said, that when you approach somebody, the fault may not necessarily be yours. Because the person's disposition. Like I said, you don't know his state of mind.
Exactly.
There may be challenges he has, even though you have a wonderful presentation, but that is not a priority in his list.
Exactly.
It doesn't, so tomorrow the person will call you when that challenge has been taken up. That is why follow-up is important.
Yeah.
Getting the person's phone number and the person having your contact. When the person must have been done or through with that challenge, the person will now call you and say, that business you introduced me to, I'm ready now. You have a lot of them.
Yeah.
So in any way you look at it, we the distributors will have the yarn and we have the knife. It's in our own favor. So you need to understand that it is in our own favor. Once you understand that, you remain in the business because you believe that whether Satan likes it or not,
yes,
you're going to succeed and become a millionaire.
All right, and this is where we draw the curtain on this edition of Talk to Kedi. Special thanks to Mr. Franklin Nsirimobi. Thank you for coming, sir. I really appreciate you. And I'm pretty sure that our viewers really enjoyed this edition. And of course, they have picked one or two tips that they will apply. I'm trusting you that you have picked one or two things that you will apply to grow your business. Okay. So in case you tuned in late, maybe you were at a seminar, at a conference, no problem at all. This podcast, the full video of this podcast will be on our Facebook account, Kedi Headquarters Lagos. It will be on our Facebook page at Kedi Healthcare Industries. It will be on our YouTube channel, Kedi Healthcare. It will be on our mobile application, Kedi Care. It will also be on our Instagram page at Kedi Healthcare_official. Okay, so at your convenience, just sit comfortably and then watch the full video. Pick out the points. Yeah. My guest has shared so many points. Pick out the points and then apply them to your business. Okay. So till we meet again, my name remains Sarah Adinowo, and I've had Mr. Franklin Nsirimobi in the studio. Don't miss the next edition. Talk to Kedi promises to always come with something explosive and inspiring. Bye for now.